As we all know, the disasters of 2011 were terrible and traumatic events for the people of Queensland. Today it seems a long way away from those frightening and very emotional days and nights when together we faced some grim and desperate moments as Mother Nature unleashed the unthinkable on us. We all lived through and experienced these events in different ways. As we contemplate this report today, I think it is important to remember that for some Queenslanders, these events created unbearable loss and grief for them as they lost loved ones, some of them losing more than one family member. For many Queenslanders, these events brought hardship and suffering as they lost their homes, their workplaces, their businesses, their farms, their livelihoods. For many thousands of others, they lived these events, they lived through the fear and pain of watching their neighbours, their families and their friends go through these events. For our frontline responders, our emergency workers and our volunteer organisations, they lived these events in the most extreme and trying of circumstances and, in my view, performed magnificently. For me, for mayors throughout Queensland, for others charged with senior responsibilities, these were very difficult and tumultuous times. And when you live through something of that magnitude, it's impossible not to ask questions. In fact, in my view, it's important that we do ask questions, that we ask ourselves all of the questions and we make every effort to find the right answers. Ask ourselves questions about how these events occurred and about how we responded to them, and whether we can do better in the event that we ever experience anything like it again. I established this Flood Commission of Inquiry for one reason. I wanted those questions answered, and I wanted them answered truthfully. So today I welcome the report of the Floods Commission of Inquiry. This is a very extensive report. It spans 2 volumes, some 650 pages. It makes 177 recommendations. 136 of those relate to state government, others relate to local governments and councils, some relate to the federal government and to other bodies such as the Insurance Council of Australia. The report considers a very wide breadth of issues surrounding these events, everything from floodplain management, insurance claims management, dam operations and emergency response. This report is a comprehensive, rigorous examination of all the matters surrounding our terrible floods. Today I thank the Commission, I thank Justice Holmes for her leadership of the Commission, I thank the deputies, the council assisting and all of the staff and team at the Commission of Inquiry. They were charged with examining matters that were not only highly technical in nature, but often dealing with some very emotional issues. I want to thank all those who provided submissions to the inquiry. For some people, they were providing submissions or evidence about issues and experiences that were very painful and traumatic for them. And we simply, I think, could not have some of the answers we have without people being prepared to share their experiences, and I thank them for that. The report that we've been handed today, in my view, is a blueprint for future management of flood events in Queensland. For that reason, a new Labor government, if I am re-elected, will implement this report in its entirety, lock, stock and barrel. There are a number of findings and recommendations, and I don't intend to go through all of them, but let me make comment on some of the major ones. Firstly, the Commission finds that local governments are responsible for floodplain mapping, land buybacks and other matters. But I'm deeply aware that for many local governments these responsibilities are often beyond their resources. So I'm pleased to announce today that a new Labor government will reserve $40 million over the next 3 years from the Local Government Grants Program to work in partnership with local governments so that they can implement the Commission's inquiry's recommendations that relate specifically to local government, and they are charged under these recommendations with the responsibility to do much more comprehensive flood mapping. I accept that that has to be done in partnership between local councils and state government agencies, and stand ready to assist them with resources. While the Commission does conclude that the Wivenhoe Dam was managed in a way that achieved close to the best possible result, as you know, it has also made a recommendation that 3 dam engineers be referred to the Crime and Misconduct Commission so that that commission can consider whether any offences have been made against the criminal code or whether there has been any official misconduct, particularly in relation to evidence given by the three engineers at the Commission of Inquiry. I can advise that that referral to the CMC has been made this morning. I have referred this matter to the CMC as recommended by the Commission of Inquiry. Further, the Commission finds that the dam operation manual was breached during this event. This does open the potential for legal action against SEQ Water, but it does not of itself establish liability. But any consideration of any claims will be required by the state to be managed by SEQ Water in a way that would be required of a model litigant. By that we mean that any claims that are made against SEQ Water, people will be treated fairly, their claims will be fairly and openly assessed, and where appropriate, mediated and settled. There are many other components to this report, and I'm happy to take questions and talk to you about them. As you'll appreciate, I've had the report for about an hour and a half. It's a very, very weighty document, and I intend to work my way systematically through it. But I am satisfied on my reading of all of these recommendations that these recommendations, if implemented, will equip us better in future events, and for that reason stand ready to implement them lock, stock and barrel. I wanted Queenslanders to have this report before they went to the ballot box because I wanted them to have confidence in the Commission's independence and in its actions and recommendations. I wanted them to have a chance to see and understand the recommendations. Together, we lived through a very traumatic and tumultuous time, and with this inquiry we have honestly faced and confronted these events. I hope that those who suffered so terribly through these events will find some comfort in the knowledge that with this report, the lessons that can be learnt will be learnt, and Queensland can be a better prepared and safer place in the future.